Item number 4 is the Citizens Forum. Persons desiring to address the council must limit their presentation to no more than 2 minutes. Unless an item is posted on the agenda, the Texas Open Meetings Act prohibits the council from responding to any comments other than to refer the matter to a future agenda, to an existing policy, or to a staff person with specific factual information. Claims against the city council members, or employees, as well as individual personal appeals are not appropriate for Citizens Forum. If necessary, the city council may convene into executive session under section Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code regarding any item on the agenda. The public forum is now open. If there's anyone who wishes to address the council, please come forward at this time and state your name and address. Seeing none. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Madam Mayor and councilors. My name is Joshua Lawing. I reside at 6 Norwich Court, Shawnee, Oklahoma, 74804. And I come before you today on behalf of Vive Broadband just to provide an update on progress of the expansion of fiber optic services here in the city of Paris. So just wanted to confirm that we are 100% finished with our build out as far as cabling. So if we haven't broke anything, big sigh of relief. We shouldn't break anything because we're already done with the cabling portion. Also, we will be testing our cabinet and electronics starting next week, and we look forward to turning up our first customers by the end of this month. Also wanted to provide an update in regard to the City of Paris sites. I'll run through these pretty quick. 150 First Street Southeast, the annex construction has begun. We'll be ready for install in a few weeks. 621 25th Street Northeast, East Water Tower, pending power permits. Once received, construction won't take very long. 1444 North Main Street, Fire Station 1, construction started this week. 2910 Clarksville Street, Police Station, construction starting this week. 3700 Lake Quirk Road, water treatment. We're pending permitting currently. That one will be a few months out because there's also a railroad permit that we'll have to obtain. 2000 West Kaufman Street, West Water Tower, construction has started, and we are pending a railroad permit and in the final stages of that. We look forward to coming back before the council and getting on the agenda to answer any questions you may have. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for the update.
Yes, ma'am.
The Citizens Forum is now closed. Next on the agenda is the consent agenda. Items on this agenda are approved by a single action of the council, with such approval applicable to all items appearing on the consent agenda. A council member may request any item to be removed from the consent agenda and considered as a separate item. Does any member wish to remove an item from the consent agenda for discussion? Seeing none, I'll hear a motion to approve all items on the consent agenda.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
A second, a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, say no. Motion carries 6-0. Item number 11 on the regular agenda is to receive a report on the Credit Access Business Ordinance, discuss and possibly act on an ordinance. Staff, do you have a presentation, please?
Yes, Mayor Pro Tem, members of City Council. As you recall back at your October 10th, 2022 City Council meeting, you heard a presentation from Texas Appleseed and United Way regarding credit access businesses, or CABs, as I'll shorten it for tonight's discussion, with a request that the city adopt an ordinance regulating these businesses to a greater degree than current state law. From this presentation, you asked that we work on this, so we did. We worked with the group and we obtained the TML version of the ordinance, which was passed about 10 years, which was written about 10 years ago. and adopted by many communities. We brought that back to you at the November 14th council meeting. With that, we recommended that given we had existing businesses in operation, that we might issue a public hearing so we can take an input from existing businesses and give them a chance to provide comment on that. Council agreed, so on December 9th, we submitted a letter to these businesses. We also did public notices to the paper and so forth. Then in January 9th, we met and to hear for that public hearing. We had several representatives from CABS coming and spoke about how law has changed since when it was passed 10 years ago. With the city, and they also expressed a willingness to work with us to maybe look at and possibly recommend some revisions to the ordinance that we had drafted at the time. Council asked that staff work with them to look at their ideas and considerations of that. So we did. We worked with both the CAB side as well as the Texas Appleseed and United Way to try to develop a compromise version. It took quite some while to work on this. We worked about 3 or 4 months on this project. We were ultimately unsuccessful with getting a final compromise between both parties. That the CABs did provide us a revised version that we have before you tonight, and we also have the TML version. The United Way and the consumer side, they asked that we not consider the revised version, but look at the TML version only. And of course, the CAB side asked that we not look at the TML version, but we look at the revised version. So again, I was unsuccessful with giving you a compromised version, but having had a lot of time passed since January, I felt it important to bring this back to you for your consideration. With that, Stephanie Harris, City Attorney, has provided you some language in here regarding current litigation. Stephanie, would like to speak to that for a minute?
There is pending, it is passed the House, and I looked at it today. The same bill in the Senate is probably going to be up for a floor vote either this week or next week that would essentially preempt any local regulation of these businesses under the Finance Code. I feel fairly certain that is going to pass and be signed into law by the governor, but, you know, who knows what the legislature is going to do ever. So it's not a certainty, but I think it's a high probability, in which case we would kind of be doing this for nothing because we'd end up needing to repeal it. The second thing is that really the ordinance, the TML version of the ordinance, we can't find anything above the level of a municipal court that has looked at the ordinance on the merits of it, as opposed to a procedural situation, and said, yes, this passes muster. The Austin and Dallas ordinances, which you may recall have been considerably beefed up from what the TML ordinances are currently in litigation. I think that the courts will probably reach the merits of those if it ever gets that far, depending on this legislation. So we might have some better idea at that point, but what this legislation would do is, as it currently has been passed by the House and is being considered by the Senate, would provide a safe harbor for ordinances in existence prior to January 1st of this year. Of course, when we were talking about this back in the fall, we didn't know this was going to be this bill was going to be filed in February, and the safe harbor provision wasn't added until like April, so we didn't know that was going to be in there either. So again, the likelihood of this being preempted by state law starting September 1st is reasonably likely. So take that into consideration when you decide if you want to act on this or await the outcome of the legislative session.
So with that, again, given we were unable to get a compromised version between all parties to tonight, we do have before you tonight the TML version that you were presented in November, as well as the revised version that we worked with the CABs to develop. And so you have both those. This is a very challenging topic to understand. We did the best we could to try to understand it. We recognize our weaknesses and knowledge about knowing ins and outs of this. We do recognize that there are instances where individuals have found themselves in some challenging situations. We also recognize that in the state of Texas it is a legal business, and many seek to use that business. And so it's a challenging situation for us to be in, whether to add additional regulation or not. Some have, some have not. Some have passed ordinances and don't enforce them. And so obviously if we pass an ordinance, we would look to enforce it. That's what we're doing now. So, but with that, again, you have the original TML version that we presented to you in November. You have the revised version. So, our recommendation at this point is, given litigation that's in place, that's undergoing, and as well as legislation in the works, we recommend that you table this until at least those things work their way through. Again, if either one of them passes, that will probably define what we should do at that point. So, that's our recommendation. We'll answer any questions you have.
Any discussion or questions?
Some discussion. So, I'd like to give some closure to these business owners. I strongly disapprove of us trying to regulate anything on a banking standpoint. And we don't have the authority. We don't have the people. We don't have the. I mean, this is reinventing the wheel. And Dallas and Austin, I said it the first time, and I'll say it again, are two of the poorest run cities in the state of Texas. Go look at their budgeting, go look at their cities and what disrepair and all the other things they have, and they've done this, and then they get into litigation. That's just going to pull us into litigation. The state, federal government, and state governments already regulate banking, whether we're talking about pawn or we're talking about true FHA home loans, from bottom to top. I don't. This is not going to stop payday lending. This is not going to stop predatory lending. It's going to create a illegal way for people to find local loan sharks and different things. At least what little bit of lending that they're doing right now is somewhat regulated. And like we read in our letters, there was numerous letters they gave us. This is an actual need for a lot of our community, and I hate to, and then add another layer of regulatory agency within the city that we have to continually monitor and have someone at the helm, and more cost to budget. These people are driving from all over the state of Texas to keep their businesses and their lobby, and I think instead of kicking the can down the road, I'd like to see just, let's say we're not going to do it in Paris, and if it's something that's down the road that the legislation brings forth and it's something that's got a lot of meat on the bone, I would say yeah, but there's no meat on the bone. I don't see it. I mean, it's 5 people in the city of Paris that want this and wear us out, and it's not right. And we're taking a lot of priority for something, in my opinion. It's wasting your time. It's wasting our email space. It's wasting your time. I know some of y'all drove here from different areas, and I would rather us just go ahead and exit off, and if something came back up, great, but I don't know why we would want to kick it down the road some more.
Any other discussion?
So what weight do you see it putting on the city staff if we passed an ordinance? How would that affect city staff?
Well, this type of ordinance would be more reactionary based, and so once we had a complaint given to us, we would have to investigate it and go and seek reports and interview people. So it's hard to gauge right now what that would look like, how much time that would take, how forthcoming the information comes to us. It would definitely not be quick and simple, but I hesitate to say it would be substantial. But again, it depends on how many complaints we get and when we get them. Some cities we talked to, they've had no complaints. Some cities we've talked to, they forgot the ordinance even existed. And so it's hard to know.
Yeah, I'd probably be in favor of taking staff recommendation on this, just tabling it to wait and see what the legislature come up with, how they vote, how they act on it, and then go from there. But I understand what you're saying, Clayton, about kicking it down the road.
Yeah.
We can bring it, and what I'm saying is if we table it, I know a couple of these ladies here are representing these companies on their legal side, and our regional manager, I believe, I'm trying to recollect everything, but you know that they're worried about it, so their businesses are worried about it, their managers are worried about it. And if we just take it and say, hey, we can't do anything right now anyway, if it's something that comes down the road that is something of you know, has some, again, meat on the bone. Right now, there's no meat on the bone. Right now, we're in a circle pattern, and I'd rather us not have to go back and forth with everybody and everybody worry about it. The people that want it are not going to sit there and focus on it. They can focus on something more productive. We can focus on something more productive as a council, as a staff, and these folks don't have to come down here every 3 or 4 months. And if it's something that, you know, has got meat on the bone in September, October, whenever we find out how they vote or whatever the legal outcome is, then maybe it's something you revisit. I mean, it's not something you're never going to talk about again. I just think it's one of those things that just, it's like it sounds good on paper, but everybody's still got it on their schedule. And we got so much other stuff I think we could be focused on than something we really can't even tend to at this point.
I feel like the good option, in my opinion, is to table it. I would like to see where this House Bill 2127 goes. I'm just interested to see where it lands. And then if we need to revisit it, then hey, we have an opportunity. But if we don't really need to revisit it, if that bill goes through, there's nothing to do there. I mean, the state's already ruled it, which is kind of unfortunate. And I feel like we've had many conversations on this, but state seems to think that they can continue to control local city governance and county governance, and it's getting to be a little frustrating. So I will state that as a frustration, but there's nothing that any of us can do about that at the moment. So
I would foresee if that bill is finally passed and signed into law, that we probably wouldn't even bring that back to you, that we would just report
Right.
that the preemption bill passed.
Right.
And of course, the end of the session is coming up, 4 or 5 weeks?
yeah.
Less than that,
Yeah.
about 3, I think. Not soon enough. I'll hear a motion.
I'll move that we table this item until a later date.
And a second.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor of tabling this, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries 6-0. Okay, thank you. Item number 12, discuss Leon Williams playground equipment and provide direction to staff. Mr. Smith?
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, City Council. In 2017, a $9.25 million bond was passed for streets with $500,000 dedicated for park improvements. $102,760 of those funds remain available for the purpose of making improvements to the city parks. The playground structure located on Leon Williams Park property has reached the end of its life. After inspection of the playground structure revealed significant cracking and peeling of the protective coating. As a result of this findings, the playground structure has been closed to the public and removed from the property. Staff would like to replace the old structure with a new structure and fund as much of this project as possible, with the remaining bond money set aside specifically for parks improvement projects. Staff expects to spend at least $102,760 on this project. Budget costs up to $102,760 will be pulled from the 2017 bond fund, and any additional costs will be pulled from the general fund, specifically the Parks and Recreation Department. The city could also seek donations to help fund this project, as has been done in the past with other park projects. Options: council can choose to not replace Leon Williams Park playground structure. Council can direct staff to replace the Leon Williams Park playground structure utilizing the 2017 bond funds. Council can direct staff to replace the Leon Williams Park playground structure utilizing a combination of the 2017 bond fund and general fund not to exceed $130,000. Council can direct staff to seek and accept donations to offset the cost of this project. Our recommendation is it is the staff recommendation that the city council directed staff to replace the Leon Williams Park playground structure by utilizing a combination of the 2017 bond funds, general funds, and donations.
Thank you, Mr. Smith.
Yes, ma'am.
Discussion.
I probably missed this in your presentation, but how did all this come about?
Leon Williams, after inspection on it, the coating on it was starting to peel off of it, looking into it deeper and everything.
Who inspected it?
It's TML,
TML.
our insurance company. They come every year to do a spot inspection of various park facilities. They did about 10 parks this year.
Okay.
Leon Williams being one of those.
And that's the only one that's out of compliance?
We had a few, I read the letter that Bill Loranger had. They had a few of small items, but this was the big one.
Okay.
And the small ones have been taken care of?
Yes, ma'am, we're taking care of them.
Great.
Well, since being elected on city council, it has been my mission to address the playground area at Leon's William Park. So I'm certainly going to vote to replace the playground with a newer playground. And I appreciate you all addressing the concern right away as well.
Oh, yes,
I think
sir.
we had a meeting on Wednesday, I think it was, and by Thursday evening, for safety purposes, the playground was completely removed, so I appreciate you all doing that.
Yes, sir.
I concur with what Mayor Pro Tem Hughes has said. I know we had a meeting, we had an extensive discussion about parks. Gosh, was it about a month and a half, maybe 2 months ago? But this came up, and I think this is a great idea, and that park really needs some rehab, and there are folks that use it. I'm sure they'll absolutely appreciate that. I know I've had constituents that have come out and said, man, we'd love to see an improvement to the park, so absolutely. I'm in full favor.
And this park too was actually next on our park improvement plan from 13, I believe what it was. Then we had the pump track come up, and that diverted funds to that a few years ago. And now the state has reimbursed us. We have the $102,000 now available. So Leon wasn't next on the list. It just happened to work out this way.
Great. I absolutely want the equipment safe and usable and used. So I hope a lot of families will get out there and use it. This will be several weeks or months of ordering and installing, I'm sure.
Yes, ma'am.
But
Yeah, this park is probably second as far as as far as big events. You know, you have people out there sometimes daily, but a lot of times you have huge events out there. So it's going to be used.
that's great. All right. Any further discussion? Staff wants direction on this item. I think I'm hearing. Let's move on that. Could I ask one question? I've heard that we don't have enough pickleball courts. Can we do some painting on the existing tennis courts so that they could be used for both?
We're actually looking into that. The dimensions on tennis courts and pickleballs, we're trying to get all, because I don't know anything about pickleball. So I'm
Oh,
trying,
neither.
I'm trying to learn it. And as soon as we figure that out, me and Bill have had talks about this, and we're trying to work our way to that.
But as soon as I retire, I'm going to learn to play pickleball.
When you learn, come get me, and you can teach me after that.
And we had a discussion at our meeting about that, actually. There has been a lot of interest on that.
Yeah.
And so we did raise that suggestion, also dog parks and such. And so I know that they're working on it, but we'll figure out something, I'm sure.
So just a fact, and I know what Stephanie's going to get on to as we getting off a little bit, but there's about
If you know I'm going to do that, why do you do it?
Well, she brought it up. So pickleball membership is about 500 in Lamar County right now.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
So with that, if the council is approving, we will seek some donations to help offset costs, because the cost to buy playground equipment is very expensive. So $102,000 won't get us what we'd like to see, so we're going to be seeking some donations. I know we did that a few years ago, so we'll use $102,000 up for sure, and we may tap a little bit more in general fund and donations to go a little beyond that, if you're approving of that.
Sorry, I forgot to mention that yet. I think the donations part
Yes.
was highlighted on that, so absolutely, that's a
So
good.
do we need to make a motion?
No,
It's a
just
direction.
give
Okay.
them direction. Thank you, Mr. Smith.
Thank y'all.
Item number 13 is to convene into executive session pursuant to Section 551.087 of the Texas Government Code. 1, to discuss or deliberate regarding commercial or financial information that the governmental body has received from a business prospect that the governmental body seeks to have locate, stay, or expand in or near the territory of the governmental body, and with which the governmental body is conducting economic development negotiations. Or 2, to deliberate the offer of a financial or other incentive to a business prospect described by subdivision 1 as follows: Project Clydesdale. The time is 5:55 p.m. And the city council will convene into executive session. Item number 14, reconvene into open session and possibly take action on those matters discussed in executive session. The time is 6:02 PM, and the city council is now in open session. There is no action to be taken on that item discussed. Item number 15, consider and approve future events for city council and/or city staff pursuant to resolution number 2004-081. Does anyone have any items for next meeting?
If we could, I mean, I don't know if we need to put this on the agenda or not, but next time we can discuss pickleball courts, the possibility, or maybe that's something I can just talk with you about and then maybe add it.
Yeah. Come get with me, and we'll get staff together. We'll talk about that. So.
But shouldn't we have another meeting anyway about the parks, about where we're going with the rest of the?
Yeah, but I want this specifically on there, so Stephanie won't get onto it, so we can talk about it. Yeah.
Side eye, Stephanie.
Well, but I'll meet with you and talk to you about it first.
Yep.
And don't forget your meeting tomorrow night.
All right. Oh, yeah, don't forget the meeting tomorrow night. Very important. Item number 16, I'll hear a motion and a second for adjournment.
So moved.
So move.
All
Oh,
those in
second.
favor, please say aye.
You can have it.
Motion carries 6-0.